Geometry. The study that deals with properties, measurements, and constructions of flat figures such as angles, triangles, and rectangles, and of solid figures such as cubes, pyramids, and spheres. Line segment. A limited portion of a line. Equal line segments. When two ends of a line segment are made to coincide, they are what? A midpoint. A line segment is divided into two equal parts when it is divided by what point? Transection points. When 2 points of a line segment is divided into 3 equal parts, it is what? Angle. The figure formed by 2 straight lines drawn from the same point. Equal angles. When 2 angles can be made to coincide. Bisector of an angle. The line through the vertex of an angle which divides into 2 equal angles. Paragon. When the generating line makes a complete revolution, the angle formed is called a what? Straight angle. An angle whose sides form one straight line extending through the vertex. Adjacent angles. When 2 angles have the same vertex and a common side between them, they are called what? Right angles. When one straight line meets another so as to make 2 equal adjacent angles, each angle is called what? Perpendicular line. When 2 lines form right angles with each other. Acute angle. An angle that is less than a right angle. Obtuse angle. An angle that is greater than a right angle, but less than a straight angle. Reflex angle. An angle that is greater than a straight angle, but less than a paragon. Oblique angles. Acute, obtuse, and reflex angles. Complementary angles. When 2 angles' sum is a right angle. Supplementary angle. When 2 angles' sum is a straight angle. Vertical angles. When 2 straight lines intersect, the 2 angles, not adjacent, are called opposite or what angles? Triangle. A figure bounded by 3 straight lines. Median of a triangle. The line drawn from any vertex to the midpoint of the opposite side. Altitude of a triangle. Perpendicular drawn from a vertex to the opposite side. Scalene triangle. A triangle having no 2 sides equal. Isosceles triangle. A triangle that has at least 2 sides equal. Equilateral triangle. A triangle which has all 3 sides equal. Acute triangle. A triangle which has 3 acute angle. Obtuse triangle. A triangle which has an obtuse angle. Right triangle. A triangle which has a right angle. Equiangular triangle. A triangle which has 3 equal angles. Polygon. A plane figure bounded by straight lines. Regular polygon. A polygon which is both equiangular and equilateral. Center of a regular polygon. The common point where a bisector of the interior angle intersect. Circle. A closed curve in a plane, all of whose points are equally distant from a fixed point in the plane called the center. Circumference. Perimeter around a circle. Diameter. A line through the center with it ends on the circle. Radius. A line joining at the center with any point on the circle. Chord. Any straight line whose ends are in the circle. Arc. Any portion of a circle. Semicircle. The arc that represents half a circle. Quadrant. The arc that represents a quarter of a circle. Congruence. When two plane figures have the same size and shape and can always be made to coincide, they are what? Axiom. A general statement accepted without proof to be true. Postulate. A geometric assumption accepted without proof to be true. Proof. The process of deductive reasoning, where, by the truth of a theorem where the correctness of a construction is established. Corollary. Another geometric statement that is easily deducted from the given theorem just proved. Auxiliary lines. Lines that are introduced in a figure to assist in establishing a proof. Auxiliary lines. Lines that are introduced in a figure to assist in establishing a proof. Converse statement. A statement formed from another statement by interchanging its hypothesis and conclusion. Transversal. A line that intersect two or more lines. Distance. The length of a straight line joining two points or the length of the perpendicular from the point of the line. Quadrilateral. A polygon to four sides. Parallelogram. A quadrilateral whose opposite sides are parallel. Rhombus. A parallelogram having two adjacent equal sides. Rectangle. A parallelogram one of whose angles is a right. Square. A rectangle having two adjacent sides equal. Trapezoid. A quadrilateral with two and only two sides parallel. Polygon. A plane figure bounded by three or more straight. Regular polygon. A polygon which is both equiangular and equilateral. Congruent arcs. Arcs that can be made to coincide through. Minor arc. An arc less than a semicircle. Major arc. An arc greater than a semicircle. Central angle. An angle formed by two radii. Tangent. A straight line, which, however far it may be extended, has one and only one point in common with a circle.